Let's go to some of the measures. As I say, all budget about choices. You've walked away from the agreement with the states and territories over funding schools and funding hospitals into the future to the tune of $80 billion. It's quite clear in the budget. You say you want grown-up adult states. What's grown-up and adult about breaking this agreement with the states with no warning?
Well, we said pre-election that we were not bound in the out years. We explicitly said time and time again pre-election that we were bound by the forward estimates. We weren't bound by the out years. Now, of course, the first of the out years has come into the forward estimates, and we've been totally upfront. We've said the money will continue to increase, but it will increase at a slower rate than before.
$80 billion less is written in the budget papers. The states say they've got a signed agreement, and they are shocked. Or are they feigning shock?
Well, look, I'm not going to run a commentary on the states.
They're running one on you right now.
What I am saying is that what we have done is precisely what we said we would do before the election. We said we would honour the then government's commitments over the then forward estimates. We said we weren't bound by their pie-in-the-sky promises for the out years. We said it was unsustainable. We said it was undeliverable. And we're not going to try to deliver it.
But you also said we're a unity ticket on Gonski, and there's no difference between Kevin Rudd and myself when it comes to school funding.
For 4 years.
Do you think people heard the 4 years?
Well, look, we always said, and this was the subject of argy-bargy during the election, if you'll remember, Fran, we were accused constantly by Labor during the election of not continuing the Gonski funding. They said this pre-election.
What about the $50 billion for hospitals?
And they're right. Well, again, we said we would only be bound over the then forward estimates, and the first of the out years has now come into the budget.
So what happens now then to the schools and hospitals? What happens to those national agreements to lift standards of treatment and schooling?
Well, again, Fran, let's get back to the problem. The problem is that we were living beyond our means, and we cannot keep spending money that we don't have. We cannot keep mortgaging the future. We cannot keep ripping off our children and our grandchildren, and this government won't do that. Now, we also said pre-election, and I've repeated that regularly since, that we would have a Federation white paper, and that would be the opportunity for the Commonwealth and the states to sit down and work out what's going to happen in 3 years' time.
So you just preempted that, though. Why didn't you wait for the white paper?
We're not talking about next week or next month or even next year. We're talking about changes in 3 years' time. We've got an enormous amount of time to sit down and work things out. But what we're not going to do is continue unsustainable spending with borrowed money. That would be wrong. That would be an offence against the future.
You've also said that the states should run the schools and hospitals. They run them, they should pay for them, they should fund them. But you're taking away this $80 billion. So how should the states raise this money? Should they raise it from the states, the taxes they have, the gambling taxes, the payroll taxes, the stamp duties? Should they lift those?
Well, Fran, this $80 billion was never in any budget. It was an unsustainable promise for the out years, made by a government that knew it was never going to have to deliver.
So are you saying then, as you look forward, as Prime Minister of this country, you think we can do better in our schools and hospitals without that money? You can be a Prime Minister, or are you happy to be Prime Minister of a country that has different standards of hospital care and different standards of school education in different states?
Well, I think we can
can't have everything without the money, can we?
Well, money isn't everything, Fran, and this is part of the problem. Over the years, we've thought that the only solution to school problems and to health problems was more money. Now, money's important, no doubt about that, but are you really saying, Fran, that we can't be more efficient in schools? That
no, but $80 billion is a lot of efficiency.
But that money was never in any budget. It was a pie-in-the-sky promise by a Labor government that knew it wouldn't be around to deliver on it.
The states are meeting this afternoon. They say that money was in the agreements they all signed with the Commonwealth, and they want you to stick to it. They say if you don't stick to it, then how else are they going to get this money? Are you considering giving them a share of Commonwealth-raised income tax?
Fran, we always said that we weren't bound by those agreements in the out years, and the first of the out years has now come onto the budget. And we've said to the states, we will continue to increase your funding but not at the same unaffordable rate that Labor was promising. So we've just been absolutely upfront with the states, and we've now got 3 years to sit down and have a mature adult discussion about this and work out what the best way forward is.